Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Venus DeMilo Thomas, and I am being joined by writer-director Princella Smith. Now, she has written the amazing story called Walk in the Light, which she has turned into a 3D animated short film, which is amazing if you want to teach your children a little history lesson and a little lesson about love. Now, this film, Walk in the Light, is about the Oklahoma City bombing. It happened in April 19th, 1995, and it is told in a way that not only gives you a history lesson, but it teaches you a lot about love in a very gentle way that is enjoyable for the whole family. And then the way that you've edited it and put it together, I feel like I was watching a documentary because we actually got to see the actual people that were involved in the incident. And Raymond Washburn, whom the story is about, is an amazing, amazing person. Would you please tell me about him and what he did to get these people out of the building while he was blind?
Venus, thank you so much for having me on the show. And, sidebar, telling all the audience, I am an elder millennial. I'm a 90s kid, so I'm actually a fan of Venus's. Sidebar, a lot of people center in so many of those shows that I feel like I just grew up with her on my television screen. So this is pretty cool. And also, Venus, you interviewed me at the NAACP Image Awards,
which was amazing.
I want to say we have used that interview a lot when telling people about this movie, get it out there. We've used just that little clip right there on the recounts. So thank you for you've kind of progressed here.
I'm so glad. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So your question was about the history of the.
Yes, and Raymond Washburn. Tell me about
Raymond Washburn. Yes. Yeah. So Raymond Washburn, as you already stated, Raymond Washburn was a blind man who owned and operated the snack bar on the 4th floor of the Alfred P. Murrah building. It was the largest, federal building in Oklahoma City downtown, and he operated through through a program called the Randolph Shepherd's Vendors Program. So what that does is it allows blind people to have a job, own a business, and operate. And a lot of times it was in government buildings. And so Raymond was a part of that. He even at one point was the president of that association. So he was he was present in the building on April 19th, 1995, when it was bombed by Timothy McVeigh, and that is known as the Oklahoma City bombing. So any history buffs watching this would remember 1995, a pretty gruesome act. 168 people died, including 19 children. And it was it still is the largest act of domestic terrorism in the history of the United States. Our biggest terrorist attack, of course, was 9/11, but domestic, meaning one of our own, American homegrown. And so anyway, I got to working on a feature film. I was attempting to do a feature film. I started trying to do a feature film about heroes of the Oklahoma City bombing all the way back in 2016. And so this has been a long journey.
All right.
Yeah. So I've been really trying to do this. And so anyway, along the way, I thought I need to switch up, do something different, kind of maybe find another way to get the story out there. So I decided to do an animated short film, and I decided to center Raymond. And it turned out to be a good idea, and just being able to take his story, put it in a compact way, and tell it through him talking to his granddaughter. And yes, he's also a member of the Yuchi tribe of Native Americans. And so we set it up to where he's teaching her about their tribe and also about heroism.
Wow. And it's just so amazing, the fact that a blind man, was able to use his ability to get people out of the building. And because he couldn't see already, I don't know, and the fact that he was able to save lives.
Right. It's something, because, Raymond was blind his whole life. And so what happened during, and I was able to talk to Raymond and his wife and people who he saved out of the building.
And we get to see that in the film, which is so amazing.
Thank you for pointing that out.
It's such an amazing documentary. It's not just the animation. There's music, and there is just to see the people that were in the building and have them talk about, and what you actually, cover in the film. It's just amazing the way that you were able to put that together with the real life and the 3D animation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, in the closing credits, we put interviews with the real people. And
Mm-hmm.
so, being able to talk to them and everything, I got to know exactly what was going on. And they said if you go back and look at documentaries about the Oklahoma City bombing, you can see lots of black smoke, lots of concrete dust, and it was matting people's eyes, of course, through the blood and everything, just really a mess. And so they were hollering, "I can't see."
Mm,
Raymond could never see. He's
right.
never been able to see out of his natural eyes, but because as I put in the film, love is illuminating, he saw with the
Mm,
light of his heart. And this is what I love about animation, because we made those hearts glow whenever a different hero was doing something in the movie. And so they are hollering, "I can't see." Raymond says, "Follow the sound of my voice." And he
mm,
says, you put your hand on each other's shoulder and make
right.
a train, and I'll get us out of there. Well, that's a callback to him growing up as a little blind boy. And even just when he got married to his wife, what he would do, blind people, if you watch, they'll grab the elbow of the person,
Mhm.
or they'll put their hand on the shoulder and they'll walk.
Yeah.
And so he just told them to do
Do what
what I do. Yeah. And he just, by
wow.
sense of direction and navigation, led them out of the building, out of a back stairwell.
So, Princella, now this film was shot in 3D animation. Why did you choose 3D animation over, like, say, hand drawn or 2D or claymation or stop motion? There's so many different options out there
Right.
for this genre. What made you go to 3D animation?
Yeah, so actually when I decided I was doing this, I made a post and I said I'm looking for animators to, animate my short film. Here's the script's written. I'd already recorded the voices and everything. And in my mind, I thought I probably wanted 3D, but I was presented with several options, and some of them were really beautiful. One of them is like a paint type of
Mm,
animation to and stuff. But ultimately I settled on 3D because it's a heavy story. It's a real story. Now it is uplifting and inspirational and powerful, but it's a strong story. So you got to be careful with animation. Like, I wanted it to make sure that people were like, that it would be taken very seriously,
mm,
that we could look as closely like the characters, have the characters look as closely to the real people as possible. And
mhm.
one thing I like about 3D is you're building the skeleton of the person. Like, you build them. It's like you're building a little human, and then you put the things over them. So they had to, like, build Raymond, right? And then put the layers and the colors and this, shaping his eyes a certain way, to make sure that he looks blind and all that. And so
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I love about this is the character design. I think our animators did a beautiful job, especially if you can see in the credits, they really matched how those people look.
Yeah,
Even like the civilian hero that came in, Rowdy
yeah.
back, Alan Hill, the firefighter, all those people are real, made them look just like him. So yeah, that was my ultimate decision behind 3D. Was I think it's gonna serve the story better, having real people.
Wow. Yeah, and it is amazing. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what do you want your audience, people who watch this movie, what do you want them to walk away feeling? What do you want them to get out of this film?
I think it goes back to the tagline we use, which is "Love is illuminating." Shout out to my dad; he taught me that phrase from Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the anti-Nazi dissident. He said, "Love is illuminating." So, in the darkest times, in one of the darkest times of American history, the love of Raymond Washburn's heart illuminated the darkness, and that's how he got them out of literal darkness. The building was dark. I don't know if you've ever been in a building where the electricity's been cut off, and then just actual darkness of the time,
Right.
darkness of the dark smoke, darkness of
Oh,
the
yeah.
ugliness, the fear, the terror. I like to tell this one story if I can. I think this really sums it up. I did so much research on this, because
Mm-hmm.
remember I told you I'm trying to make a feature as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to talk to Raymond and Mary Lou before they died. Mary Lou is his wife. And they gave me quite a bit of information. They died during the production of this film, so I am just on a mission. I told them I will take this story as far as it can go, and the
Mm-hmm.
world will know your amazing story.
Yeah.
But they told me that they were present during the execution of Timothy McVeigh.
Mm.
Timothy McVeigh was found guilty in a Denver courtroom. He went to federal court there, and they were present when he was found guilty. Then there was like a selection of people who
Mm.
had like lost a loved one or whatever, and they said, "Hey, do you want to attend the execution, the death penalty, to get closure?"
Mm.
So Raymond and Mary Lou were selected, and Raymond, as we say in the movie, he says 168 people died, and I had served at least 100 of them at my snack bar at some point.
Right.
So he
Right.
kept seeing all the names and going, I knew that person. That person worked in, on the second floor. That person worked on the third floor. Oh, they worked in the bank. They worked in Social Security, whatever. And so he was very hurt. And so, yes, Raymond says, I want to go. Well, okay, remember, he's blind. So he, the way they work, Mary Lou would dictate to Raymond what's happening.
Wow.
So she would tell him, okay, they're doing this. Okay. So they wheel Timothy McVeigh in, and he's strapped in on the gurney. He's strapped down, and they're gonna give him the lethal injection. And so they tell the person that they're going to execute, they tell them everything before it's gonna happen.
Right.
There's a camera, a closed circuit camera, and the people who are watching you closed circuit are gonna be able to see you.
Mm.
So when they wheeled McVeigh in, Mary Lou said that it was like the camera went on him quick, and it was like, oh, kind of a jolt. Well, McVeigh knew that the camera was going to be there. He scowls into the camera. He gives this evil, deep stare into the camera, and kind of like one more screw you to the families, the victims.
Mm.
He had no remorse. And this was reported by many reporters that he was just scowling in the camera. And so there's a gasp in the room.
Mm.
Oh, and so Raymond, he shifts. He can't see. He shifts, and he said, well, "What happened? What?" He's felt the energy in the room shift, and Mary said, "Well, McVeigh is scowling at us. He's making a face like he's mean mugging us."
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wow. And in that moment, when she told me that, the first thing I thought when Mary Lou told me this story is I said, "My goodness, how sad for Timothy McVeigh." Because the only person in that room who was blind was him.
Mm.
It wasn't Raymond. It was Timothy McVeigh. He was so blinded with his hatred. He was so blinded with his ugliness that he thought he was a hero, but he wasn't. He thought he somehow, ended those people and shut them down and shut down Oklahoma City, but he didn't. They have a thriving downtown. Those people went on and moved on and lived beautiful lives. A lot of them have great stories about how they overcame this tragedy. But there was one blind man in that room, and it was Timothy McVeigh, the ugliness of that man. And he was remembered as nothing but a monster. But Raymond Washburn, I'm going to see to it that he is remembered as a hero.
It is so beautiful, the work that you did with this film, the message that it brings to the world. And I just hope more people go out and they're able to see it. The soundtrack is amazing. And the book, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful children's book. We'll have all the information on the videos. And Princella, thank you so much for sitting down with us and the New York Amsterdam News to talk about your film, Walk in the Light.
Thank you. Everybody go to walkinthelightmovie.com. You can rent it there. You can rent it at walkinthelightmovie.com. Thank you, Venus.
You're welcome, Priscilla. See you later. All right.
You.
Yes.